I love this game. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, the sequel of the beloved GameCube launch title starring Green Mario as he explores a spooky mansion busting ghosts to save his brother. I played some of the original game growing up, but I really hopped into the series with Dark Moon. I enjoyed both games for being a fun change of pace in the Mario franchise, and also getting to see Luigi have his own game that wasn't an educational game. While the GameCube Classic received praise from critics and fans, it wouldn't be until 2011 where at E3, Nintendo would reveal Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for the Nintendo 3DS, with Next Level Games being handed the job to develop it, whose previous titles include the Mario Strikers games and Punch-Out for the Nintendo Wii. Considering how well Next Level worked with Nintendo, it would be safe to assume that the game would turn out well. And while waiting for the game's release, I would just watch the 3DS trailers on playback over and over again on my 3DS. Anyone else remember this? Nintendo would announce a game for the 3DS and have the trailers available to download on the eShop? I loved when they did this, as it gave a glimpse on what the game would look like with that 3D effect on. But the waiting would reach its end as on March 24th, 2013 in North America, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon was finally mine. And I immediately loved it. The areas you explore, the puzzle solving, secrets, Luigi's interactions with the environment, Dark Moon to this day is still one of my favorite 3DS games. Not to say there weren't any flaws with the game, as some players saw issues with the new mission-based structure, ghost designs and behavior, and some occasional performance hiccups. Problems aside, I didn't mind Next Level's interpretation of the series. Plus, they would eventually fix some of these issues with Luigi's Mansion 3 on Switch. Dark Moon was a good starting off point for Next Level, seeing what worked and what needed improvement, while also introducing new players to the series, considering it's been over a decade since the original game released. Even after playing the third game, I still love Dark Moon, and while some fans may not be fond of it, hopefully 3 served as a better sequel to the GameCube original. Although, if Nintendo decided to re-release Dark Moon for a newer console, they could take the time to correct the issues players had on 3DS and make it more enjoyable for new and returning fans. I mean, it would make so much sense, right? Right? Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, a remaster of the 10-plus-year-old 3DS game that was a sequel to the 10-plus-year-old GameCube game. Plus, they changed the game's name to match what it was everywhere outside of North America. I mean, considering they used 3 everywhere for the Switch game, yeah, it made sense for them to just call it 2 HD. With the Switch slowly reaching the end of its run, Nintendo revealed Dark Moon was being remastered with developer Tantalus at the helm. You may know of them from other Nintendo remasters like Twilight Princess HD and Skyward Sword HD. From the moment it was revealed, some fans weren't too happy with a couple of things. Why was 2 coming and not 1? Why are the graphics not on par with the third game? Will Nintendo provide 3D glasses so we can still see the game in 3D? Okay, the last one I made up. But come on, the 3D was cool. Since I love the 3DS original, I had full intentions to pick it up. Nothing else was releasing around that time, so this was just gonna be my game for the month. And after picking the game up, I completed the story once again, ran through Scarescraper multiple times, and at the end of the day, it's the same game. Crazy, right? Besides improving the controls and presentation, the foundation of the game is still the same as it was on the 3DS. So it's still just as fun as I remembered, but now I can perform even better in stages than I ever could in the original. Although it's unfortunate there's no new quality of life features here that resolves any of the issues some fans had on 3DS. And while the graphics are an improvement, comparing to how amazing Luigi's Mansion 3 looked, this can be seen as somewhat lacking. But regardless, the changes here in 2HD makes it the definitive way to play the second game, even if it's lacking the 3D. I know it's stupid, but I love that 3D effect. That being said, with a $20 price increase compared to the 3DS release, are these improvements enough to warrant returning fans to double dip? Would those wanting to give it a second chance have a better time here? And for those who played 3 and just want more ghost hunting fun, will they get their money's worth? let's get into it. If you played any Luigi's Mansion game, you'll know the gist of the plot. Ghosts are running amok and Professor Egadd calls upon Luigi to clean up the mess. To do this, he'll traverse the Evershade Valley to collect the fragments of the Dark Moon, to calm the ghosts down and slowly piece together the mystery of the mastermind behind this whole mess, even if it's not well hidden to begin with. With the game taking place across the whole valley rather than a singular mansion, the adventure offers more in both visuals and gameplay. From a small manor slowly being covered in webs, haunted towers overrun with plants, an old clock tower with abandoned mines down below, and a few more. No matter where you go, throughout the entire journey, you'll see Luigi's personality shine as he nervously explores every nook and cranny to stop these ghosts running rampant. With a handful of missions per zone, once you've seen everything in one spot, you'll be warped elsewhere to explore something entirely new. While the mission structure made sense for a handheld game, fans of the original weren't fond of this change, as once you feel like you're getting into the swing of things, Egadd pulls you out to provide some exposition, only to send you back to either the room you were just in or a couple rooms over. I never minded this change to missions, as during some downtime, I'd open up my 3DS, play a mission, then turn it off to go about my day. While the missions have benefits in regards to replayability for higher ranks and collectibles, some fans just miss having a singular area to freely roam rather than 5 separate smaller areas. This is something that could have been somewhat adjusted in 2 HD. Obviously the system can't 100% be removed as the story and gameplay are centered around it. But at times where you only have to go back just to fix an item to progress, maybe an option to jump straight to the next mission could have been provided and Luigi would send the item over to be fixed quickly, along with a shorter bit of dialogue from Egadd so he can still provide the exposition. With the story being text-heavy, slight adjustments here and there could have helped the flow of gameplay without harming the plot itself. Another adjustment that could have been done to dialogue would have been tweaking Egadd's calls within missions, as whenever you progress to a point within them, he'll call you to tell you something either plot-related or something completely obvious. What makes this even worse is no matter if this is your first time playing the mission or your third, these calls happen every time, stopping you right in your tracks. The only redeeming factor out of all of this is the ringtone is pretty catchy. Honestly, if I didn't have my phone on vibrate all the time, I probably would have used this for a friend. The solution here is so simple, I can't believe it wasn't integrated. If Egadd is calling for something simple like what a gem is or how collecting money is a good thing, just make it appear in a text box while you're playing. I just used the strobe bulb, you don't have to call me to tell me what it does. With the slight edits to these two issues, the progression would have improved greatly. And a great example of this working is found in Skyward Sword HD, where in the original game, if you start the game back up and grab an item you already had, you get the same message explaining what it is, even though you already know. But in the Switch Remaster, Tantalus tweaked it to only display the info once, along with reducing the amount of time Fi interrupts you playing and also shortening the length of the tutorial at the start. While the calls somewhat reduce the further you progress in the story, the times they do appear get so annoying and it's a shame that nothing was done to adjust it. These gripes aside, the story is still entertaining with Luigi slowly traveling across the valley and overcoming the ghost antics along the way. It just depends on the person if they like the bite-sized missions rather than the interconnected areas found in 1 and 3. And from there, where the game really shines the best is with its gameplay. Catching ghosts is just as addictive as it's ever been. Grabbing multiple in a single flash, charging a full power meter to finish them off, and earning a large reward of gold bars is always satisfying. Taking the tug-of-war aspect of the GameCube original, 2 simplifies the tug while providing new mechanics to keep the combat fun. Pulling away from enemies fills up a meter that once filled will drain a large amount of HP from ghosts, and when used to finish them off, provides more of a bonus in money for a better mission grade. In situations where there are multiple ghosts around and you don't have some in your crossfire, you have this nice dodge mechanic to avoid oncoming attacks while retaining your hold on the ghost you're attempting to capture, with the only caveat being you lose what meter you have filled currently. By completing the stage fast with the most money, ghost caught, and least damage taken, you'll be graded for your performance. And while on 3DS I try to go for 3 stars whenever I could, this time though, I didn't stop until every mission was completed with those 3 shiny gold stars. This grade system becomes a great incentive to learn how to go about levels, finding the best route, where to collect money, and how to handle each ghost encounter. When I got a 2-star, I would just think where could I improve, and just go right back in. And while it sounds like encounters can get repetitive over time, each zone provides something new, like the green ghost grabbing weapons in the environment, becoming knights or mummies, or even grabbing sunglasses to block your flashlight. Outside of combat, the world is covered with puzzles to wrap your head around, and figuring out how to progress forward is fun as you'll look around to find anything out of the ordinary, like a movable rug, a fan to spin, or even something not seen with the naked eye. This is where the newly introduced Dark Light comes in, as Luigi can shine it to discover secrets, find items, and even free toads from paintings. Plus it even serves a benefit in combat, allowing you to locate ghosts that aren't even visible yet. The puzzles here provide small moments to relax in between combat, and also uses the poltergust in creative ways like floating with a balloon, moving items around, even carrying the toads over obstacles. While the flow of gameplay stays the same, the various puzzles and the ghosts you fight keeps it from growing stale. That said, some missions do feel like padding, like how when you're going somewhere and ghost took multiple items that you need to progress, or when a certain someone comes in and steals something from you, so you gotta chase him around the area. Yeah, that can get repetitive. But the Polterpup missions I do like, since he's having fun playing with Luigi as he runs after him. Plus the Dark Light gets a cool use serving as a way to track him. Besides completing the mission's objective, you'll have the opportunity to collect gems and hidden boos within stages. While fun to search for, not all gems can be found in every stage, and there isn't a way to know which stage has which gem. In 3, you could use your collected money to buy locators for both the boos and gems. This would have been a useful feature, so we wouldn't need to search online for a guide if one is just too difficult to find. That aside, the bonus collectibles are fun to discover, and if you collect each boo in an area, you'll unlock an additional time attack mission to play. So hey, more content. The only major negative I could say with the gameplay are with the boss fights, because outside of King Boo, they aren't that special. The spider is cool, but then we get a staircase, a challenge gauntlet, this nightmare, the armor knights again. 3 definitely improved in this department. Outside of that, the combat and puzzle solving is fun to do, and the ranking system and collectibles had me going back in for more. Along with the story mode, you have the Scare Scraper, and it's just as fun, offering 3 modes to play online or locally, ascending multiple floors until you reach the end. Playing with friends and randoms is fun, and the multiplayer even provides a large assortment of exclusive ghost variants to fight. The only real issue I have with Scare Scraper is finding matches can be annoying, with you having to refresh the page until you find what you want. Also, you're unable to join a squad in-game, so if someone bails on you mid-session, have fun with that. Other than that, Scare Scraper is a fun mode to play during and after you finish the campaign. Plus, with the 3DS online functionality done, this is the only way to play this mode online now. Legally, that is. But what about new modes? Anything special added for 2HD? Nope. No new Scare Scraper maps, modes, no additional stages in the story. When I said it was the exact same game, this is what I meant. Disappointing when other re-releases come with at least one additional mode for returning players. But yeah, no luck here. What is here is fun to play. While some mission objectives can be tedious at times, once you're collecting ghosts and exploring the environment, you'll be jumping straight into the next stage. Plus the improvements in performance makes it feel so much better to play too. If you played the 3DS version, you probably remember moments where the frame rate would take a hit when too much was happening on screen. Well, I'm happy to say that that issue is a thing of the past. Yeah, it's only 30 frames per second, however with no more stutters, the game is just a better experience. Especially with the updated controls. While you can use the original controls if you wish to, I don't know why you would since the face buttons weren't the best at adjusting your aim. The second analog stick now allows full control of where you aim and maneuvering around encounters. Plus with LNR handling the dark light and strobe bulb, you'll never have to remove your right thumb from the stick outside of text boxes and interacting with the environment. The tweaks to the controls and smoother performance are great to have, but how are the visuals? Well, that depends on the person. When compared to 3, it's clear that 2 HD isn't as pretty, but that's not to say it's an ugly game. Comparing it to the 3DS version, side by side you can see the changes in textures, smoother edges, updated lightings and shadows, and tweaks to the environment. You can tell this is where Tantalus put most of their efforts in when it came to this remaster. Looking at the game on its own, it looks really good. Cleaned up the jagged edges of the original, and touching up things that needed attention like Luigi's model and certain areas in the environment. Plus the touch-ups done improves the one thing that many remember fondly from this game, the animations. Seeing Luigi jump at anything that moves around him is simply entertaining. Interacting with objects around him and messing about showed so much of his character. While terrified about being put into this situation, he can find joy in the small things in the moments of downtime. While the ghosts in 2 and 3 are more jokey compared to the ones in the original, their antics and seeing them run amok are entertaining to watch, and you'll see plenty of that as you traverse the valley. Every cutscene looks great cleaned up, so while some say it could've looked better, the work they did do here is still an upgrade. Although one nitpick I do have is, why couldn't they edit the moment a character is frozen when holding an item? Egadd and Luigi don't move when the camera is zooming in on the object. Outside of visuals, audio sounds great. Hearing the sound effects and music go as you're sucking up a group of ghosts is pleasing to hear, and Luigi humming never gets old. Also, the DS ringtone is just too good. When comparing to other remasters like Metroid Prime, the case can be made that more could have been done, plus this being priced at $60 when remakes come out for $50 and other remasters for $40, it's justifiable for people wanting more from this. Now, with everything said, is Luigi's Mansion 2 HD a good game? Oh yeah, I still love this game, but as a remaster, was enough done here to warrant the purchase? For $60, I don't think enough was added to warrant the price if you already experienced this. The gameplay is fun, the improved controls and performance makes it feel better to play, but with nothing new added to the package, if you played the original game, waiting for a price cut seems like a good idea if you're not in a rush to head back in. For those who weren't fans of the original 3DS release, if it was due to the mission structure format, I doubt this will change your mind. If you didn't enjoy it more because of controls and performance, maybe you might have a better experience now. If you haven't played the original game and already played Luigi's Mansion 3, then I would recommend giving 2 a try. There's plenty of content here, and it's more ghost hunting fun with Luigi. While more tweaks could have been done for this remaster, Luigi's Mansion 2 is still a great game, and fans of the other entries should at least give it a try and experience it for themselves. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you made it this far, I need to know, what did you think of Luigi's Mansion 2 HD? Was there enough here to warrant the purchase, or could more have been done? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and let me know. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe for more gaming content. With all that said, I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye. They could have put 3D glasses in the case. I could have still had my 3D portal loading screen, Nintendo. You took that from me.